Whale, your regular fix for movies and mayhem. Welcome to Rage Whale. This is episode 36.
I love it.
We've begun. My cat's just tried to come in.
Just experience an earthquake, Kev. What's going on in
It does
your
look
bloody
like an
room?
earthquake.
Here we go. So I've actually started recording. We are
Tremors.
recording currently. This is episode 36. I don't need to say that because Drew's doing a little video to tell us that.
What are you doing, Kev?
Well, I just pressed record and then I heard...
Fanning around, jumping around.
It's the invisible
It's
husband.
a professional
Did you have your
podcast.
cat in a headlock there?
God,
there she is.
just kill it and
Oh.
be done with.
Troublemaker.
Greetings, Pussy.
She's a
Stan,
troublemaker.
pop up there. Anyway.
Put on your
So, yeah,
special sheet.
this is as professional as we get. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We've got a special guest today. It is my cousin. My cousin is, 8 years older? Michael O'Connor, who is 3 years older than me. My big cousin. And I don't think I'd be lying if I said my favourite cousin growing up because he had the cool place to go to.
Naturally.
All the weapons. That's from previous episodes when we talked about having fights and weapons and me getting introduced to Bruce Lee, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Brandon Lee, all this sort of stuff. It's all
Basically,
because
anything
Michael-
that's good quality about Kevin came from me.
Nice, nice. Apart
So
from the fact
basically-
you wanted to hit us with nunchucks, I guess that's your fault as well, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I mention anything about Gareth, Gareth says, I introduced Gareth to loads of stuff, and it's usually because Michael introduced it to me, basically. But yeah. Oh, yeah, Michael, you probably don't even know, because I probably haven't even told you, is that synonymous with these guys and my house parties, these guys used to come to my house. James used to live with me for a few years, and we'd hang out, and at one point in the night, frequently, I'd bring out a samurai sword and attack people, and literally I got Nemo's thumb and half chopped it off almost.
It sounds like Step Brothers.
I
Yeah,
got my
we-
revenge though, didn't I, Kev, one day, when you didn't know I was coming home early and you were in a bath or having a shower and I got a mannequin prepared for you.
Yeah. So
I've
our
never
ha-
seen anyone close to death as much as Kev.
my house was a little bit mad. We had loads of random stuff in it. And James, we had a mannequin there called Barbara. Shout out to Kate. And I had weapons everywhere, like as you know, but they weren't just on the wall. We used to like with coming around your place, we used to play with them, and probably very inappropriately. And I think I was a bit young when me and you were playing, but you taught me how to defend myself very quickly because you were attacking me.
With a dog leash, apparently. I don't remember that, but
It was a dog leash, man.
no.
You sent that picture of that weapon that looks like a little metal whip. Nah, it was a dog leash. You just
That's just how you remember it. That's kind of like post-traumatic stress. Sometimes you
Space
remember
used to
things
whip each
differently.
other as young boys.
So, Kev,
With
does
leather.
that technically make you his bitch then?
This reminds me of a scene from the original Police Academy when they go into the Blue Oyster Club.
Du-du-du-du-du-du.
I'm pretty sure I won one fight. Surely, no, I probably didn't.
Can you remember when Rob
Maybe I'll let
Halford?
you want to
That's
boost your
Rob Halford's the
confidence.
guy from
Yeah.
Rob Halford is the lead singer from Judas Priest, right?
Yeah,
Remember when he tricks like a bunch of rock and rollers to dress in gay? Because he used to come out with like the leather cap and all that sort of shit, and everyone thought it was like the rock and roll thing to do, and he was just dressed like it, not knowing
Just
why.
very, very gay.
And then the Police
clothing, yeah.
Academy came out, and they were like, "Oh shit!"
You mean like
Should have
happy
known.
clothing?
No, like clothing, like what you're wearing.
You like leather and
Okay.
chains and stuff.
Okay.
Drew
Great band,
is,
by the way, Judas Priest.
Drew is doing a homage to Ken.
Just
It's a good
Ken.
look.
I'm just Drew.
You like a
Right, yeah.
Giacomo model.
How quality was I'm Just Ken at the Oscars though? To be fair,
Yeah. I mean, come on.
It was probably one of the best moments in Oscars in the past 10 years.
yeah,
He
100%.
just
Yeah.
fully committed, no vanity. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Will Smith smacking Chris Rock was quite good.
Oof.
Oh, that's.
I think that comes second.
That's in the top 10. I don't know. I felt kind of better with the Will
Not being
Smith one.
funny, but if you're going to marry a baldy, like someone's going to take the piss, aren't they?
Somebody's going to fire some.
Ooh.
Shots are going to get fired. You should
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
Like
prepared.
the last
they're-
cocoa
they're
pop in the bowl,
friends.
trying to get it in it.
Yeah. Well, I love what James said. He's like, he should have taken him to the side afterward instead of rocking up to the stage and giving him a
Chris
smack.
rocking
It's
up.
like, yeah, I guess there was different ways you could do that.
It just
And
looked
then
like the most
the legal
random
way.
thing.
And
It
then
looked staged.
winning an Oscar as well afterwards was a bit awkward.
Like
And
nobody's
the
saying
Oscar for
anything.
best smack, you're like,
Well,
goes to,
I tell you what, out of the three of us, Drew, I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe 0 to 1, made high double figures of
It's
how
about
many,
how many
like,
male people have been in your arsehole.
no.
how many times have you slapped somebody?
Why has this gone dark? No, I've been in a fight or aggressive things. I think I've been in above the average amount of stuff like that. But when we talk
But
to
you caused every one of them.
when we talk to, yeah, I did cause most of them, yeah. But Michael professionally hurts people.
Oh wow!
Oh.
No.
So
Well,
you're
he
a
used to be a fighter and then a bouncer. Or
No.
sorry,
Oh, I thought you were going
doorman.
to say he was into like some sort of like.
SMS.
SMS.
Or as
His safe word is Oklahoma.
as Nicholas Winding calls it, you are a bodyguard for the nightclubs.
Nice.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so he
Right.
You don't
legitimately.
just carry around like put a snooker ball in someone's mouth and start like whipping them or something.
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just a reminder to say we love and appreciate you all for listening to the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, follow, as this really helps us continue to progress and improve the content and keeps us making these fun episodes for you guys. Oh, we're also on these things called Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us there too, as we share short, funny reels on the reg that you can share with friends if you like. Now, back to the mayhem.
No. But to be honest, I had a casting with Nicholas Winding for
No
Only
way.
God Forgives. And I was going to bring that up at the drive conversation, but I may as well talk about it now since we're talking about fighting. And I had, again, it was quite a long audition process, but it was just between me and another guy. And I finally got to meet Nicholas Winding and his producer. And that was what he asked me. He says, "So you are a bodyguard for the nightclubs?" Obviously, I'm not a big. Nicholas Winding's like 6'2", 6'3". He's a really tall guy.
Oh wow!
And I'm like 5'11", so he looked a lot bigger than me. And he says, "So like, what happens if you have to deal with like a big guy? What do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I've always give people two options. They can walk out, or I'm dragging them out with the teeth." And he says, "Oh, you pull out the teeth?" I was like, "No. And I'll drag them out with the teeth." And he uses that in Only
I was
God
about to say, did it steal
Forgive
the
Ryan
idea?
Gosling. I was like, "Motherfucker." You're
what,
welcome,
that
Ryan
film
Gosling.
could
That's
be brilliant.
plagiarism. That is
It could be
plagiarism.
such a brilliant film,
completely,
but it's
I know.
just so
No.
weird.
That was
And
the best
anything
bit of
that
the film
knows
as
me-
well. Like, I think you should have got some money for that, coming up with that idea of dragging someone by their teeth. Like,
Well, to be honest, see the original script. It was an amazing film. See what they filmed. It was completely different from the original script.
can
I
you
was
send us the
buzzing
original
for it, 'cause
script?
it was
Can we
like a
get a
I
copy?
was
sequel to
actually
Drive,
looking for
wasn't
it. I can. I'll send it to Kevin. You can see the original. It's
Yeah, man,
actually.
please.
It's not. It's an actual script I've got.
Yeah,
But the character of Christian Scott Thomas, his mother,
yeah.
her part was so much more. She was basically Ben Kingsley's Sexy Beast, the woman version.
Wow.
And when
That's
I read it, I
genius.
was like, see, no matter how this film goes, this is like Oscar material for her. Because I
Wow.
know whatever it was, she's a great actress. She would have been able to pull it off. And the story was basically the violence of the beginning with his brother. He basically molests and murders
Yeah.
a young prostitute. When
And
we
then they
watch
let
the
the
film,
dads
you don't
kill him,
really.
don't they?
It's really kept kind of. You don't really know what's going on when you watch the beginning of that movie, but then it materializes into Christian Scott Thomas coming over as she does, but then she's Ryan Gosling's best friend, right hand man, whose character's name is Gordon. She starts manipulating Gordon, and I read it as a Mrs. Robinson. She was a lot older than him, so she's
Yeah.
manipulating him. You could take over, that kind of thing, and that was it was so deep into the script. But then the guy that got it, who's a guy that actually did a commercial with Gordon Brown, not the Prime Minister, he got the part, and Gordon is like, there's not a lot of age gap between him and Christian Scott Thomas. So for me, it really didn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, I looked at it and I thought, she can manipulate him because she's an older woman, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when it came to the actual film, when it came out, that storyline was completely gone. And
Yeah.
it's like that was the heart of the story. Like,
I didn't
Well,
get
they-
it. I remember I was so psyched about Drive. It was one of my favorite films. When this
Me
came
too,
out,
amazing.
same with Neon Demon, his next one after that. I remember watching Only God Forgives and thinking, visually, you could
Stunning.
pause any part of that film, print it, and put it on your
Stunning,
wall. It looks
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
But I
amazing.
remember watching it at the end, was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
Like, I have
I
no
don't
idea
know,
what was going on. When he reaches in and like pulls her heart out or whatever, it's like, what?
It was
Like-
like even the main. He's not the bad guy. He's the good guy. The police chief.
Yeah.
The most
He's
feared
meant to
man
be
in
God,
Thailand.
isn't he, or something? With the sword,
Yeah.
he pulls the sword out of nowhere, doesn't
I
he?
know, but he looked like a cab driver. Do you know what I mean? Like he looked like a dentist. Like I don't get why the cast. I don't know. Like Nicholas Winding, when he does movies, his casting's usually perfection,
Yeah.
and yet in this film, there's just so many things where I was like, and even like Gordon that got the part that I was going for, it was kind of between the two of us. Like Gordon's got red hair. I'm like a red-haired guy living in Thailand. I'm not buying that.
I
You
mean,
know what
he did
Like,
Bronson and Drive were masterpieces,
yeah,
but then Only God Forgives and Neon Demon were like, I've watched them multiple times and cannot understand the storyline. I'm like,
Well,
I don't know what I'm. It looks great, but I don't know
Visually,
what I'm watching.
It's incest, though. It's about incest, isn't it?
It's just weird. It's
Yeah.
just like it had
Neon-
such a great idea and it just
Demon
wasn't
was
good. Neon Demon was on. It was just stupid. Like,
It's
they're
about
going
the
to eat her
mum.
at the end for no reason. What?
It is an art film. It's not a normal film. It's meant to be taken as an art film.
But then they like
She's got
eat
to
her.
be into
It's like,
that.
why would they eat her for? She's like throwing up eyeballs.
Yeah, but being
Again,
to
when you've already done a script that's so good, I don't know where in the editing room they just go, yeah, just cut that out. I don't know if they even filmed it or if it just got to.
that's the problem, isn't it? All these films, the end result we see is rarely what was originally written or what was conceived by the artist or the writer, and there's too many cooks spoiling the broth. Basically,
Yeah.
you have this great concept that's written by one person, one scope. Too many people get involved and go, "Oh, you can't do that. You've got to do this," or "Let's change that actress from her to someone younger." Then it fucks up the
Well, Mad
dynamic.
Max Fury Road is a prime example of that. That for me, that was a Furiosa film, and I
That's interesting.
think Tom Hardy was the co-star in that.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Like, so I think that's something that's happened in the editing room, and I think
Well, they changed it to Tom Hardy being a main part, a bigger part than he should have been.
I don't know. I watch it and I'm like, I think Charlize Theron's the star of this movie. Like,
Do you think that's why they clashed? Because it's like
it must be.
they made it
again,
more
I don't
about
know.
her.
You can see what they film. I mean, I've done things, and I'm like, yay, and you go and watch it, and it's not there, and you're like, you just
Yeah.
ended up on the fucking editor's floor, and it's
Yeah.
better.
Well,
Still get paid, but
Charlize Theron was definitely the main part, really, because she was the one that was offered Furiosa and Fury Road. And George Miller said, these are the two films. This is the concept. This is the backstory. Read this. This is the film we're making. And
was
she,
Furiosa always going to be a?
it was always going to be the second, but Furiosa is the first, obviously, and then Fury Road's the
Yeah, no,
second.
I
She
know.
was given
I just
the
thought,
backstory, so she knew what the concept was. And when she finished reading them both, she said to George Miller, I want to make Furiosa, not Fury Road. But because Fury Road's the action-packed, it's the big it's the bigger film, he had to make that to make the prequel make sense. If they started with the prequel, no one cares who Furiosa is.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard of that
I
character.
still don't care. I
also,
want Mad Max. You know,
Charlize Theron was she's a bigger star than Tom Hardy because she's done more
got an
films.
Oscar, isn't she?
Not
So
at the time she isn't. Not at the
She
time.
was, yeah,
At the
man.
time he was peaking. No, she's not like top dot. She's not top drawer anymore.
no,
No,
she's
no,
not
at the time
anymore.
of,
I don't think she's been top draw for a long time, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
no, not now.
well, she just came off the back of Atomic Blonde though when she was doing like Mad Max Fury Road, and she was
Yeah, but
quite.
Tom Hardy's like peak
I guess
of
he
his
just did
career at
Bane.
the moment.
Actually, I guess he did Bane in Inception, so he was riding the Nolan kind of train.
Like we were saying before, Venom screwed him because
And he done 3 of those films and he couldn't have done another Mad Max.
I know this. Yeah, the Venom films are just dropped him down a little bit, I think, in the world.
I don't know
There was
what
someone on
you
Instagram though. George Miller says that he's written a prequel again for Tom Hardy for Mad Max, but obviously he's going to be older than he was when he filmed Fury Road. So
Did you see the
continuity's a bit.
Did you see the theory of the Mad Max? Tom Hardy's Mad Max isn't Mel Gibson's Mad Max. He's actually
like
the little boy from Mad Max 2, the wee boy with the boomerang.
No
so
way.
that's going to be Tom Hardy.
That's meant to be Tom Hardy growing up.
That's
Like,
cool.
because when Tom Hardy left that in Mad Max 2, he didn't take his car with him. That wee boy turns up in the original Mad Max car, and there's all these things pointing to it's actually the wee boy. And when she asks him
amazing.
his name,
Just to
Well,
nail
it's
down
Max,
on
'cause it's-
Furiosa, let's stick with Furiosa for a bit.
What did we watch this week? On Cinema Selection.
In
I
the
really
film,
enjoyed it.
What right? I mean, there's not much to spoil in Furiosa. It's a prequel, so we know the ending. The ending is Fury Road, so there's nothing really to spoil. The only thing to spoil,
Yeah.
and
she
I think
loses
it's
a hand.
her entire her whole arm gets ripped
Jesus.
off. But the bit where we see Mad Max in Furiosa,
Yeah.
are we meant to believe that's more Mel Gibson as opposed to
Hardy.
anyone else? That's meant to be the Mel Gibson of this timeline.
Mm.
Do you remember seeing Mad Max and Furiosa?
The car
Yeah.
scene.
He's on the clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who's
I
that
would
going to
say
be?
that
I'd be
regardless
up for them. I think I'd be up for them remaking all the Mad Maxes.
I will say
I just think they can make other stories.
I wasn't psyched for Furiosa at all, but I watched it and thought this is freaking awesome. As a blind action movie, it was
Yeah.
so much fun, way better than Dune 2. Dune 2 had more intrinsic story, but it was very slow. Whereas this was just chaos and just stupid things like
Chris
Dementor.
Hemsworth's nose.
Was his name Dementor or something?
His nose. Yeah,
When he
Dementor.
accidentally fires that smoke cannon, and he becomes then Dementos the Red because he gets a smoke cannon all over him.
Yeah,
It's just
he's all chuffed with himself. He's like,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, they put that. Remember the video of that little boy that was like crying in his car to his mum because he was getting bullied? He's in that. He's the little tiny kid. That's all white.
The dwarf
Yeah.
kid.
Dwarf
Also,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
was his mum filming that? Secondly, guy called Sean something who's been on Australian X Factor or something. He's got this rare disease. He's one of the guys all painted white as well. They find in the middle of a
Yeah,
road with Sky
Half-Blood.
Blood.
The
Yeah, he's
Half-Life, not Half-Blood.
he's a famous singer as well. So they're giving some like people that have probably had some crappy times, like a
Yeah.
bit of an opportunity to start
That's
over
cool.
liked.
Yeah, I thought that
But
was
I
nice.
That's
thought
really nice.
the fact that what's their chops? Anya
Anya
Taylor-Joy barely says anything.
But that's common.
Does
with
it brilliantly.
Yeah.
It's a very entertaining film.
Well, I was surprised that the little girl was in it so long.
Oh yeah, she was brilliant.
Yeah,
The
the
girl-
old-
She was
What I thought was funny was,
There's 5 chapters. The girl was in
Well-
2 chapters. Anya Taylor was only in 3 chapters.
well, Nathan Jones, the old WWE wrestler, was in it. He was the massive, tall, bald guy who was like a bit stupid.
What,
But
the potential paedophile rapist guy?
Yeah, this guy. He used to be called Nathan
shit,
Jones.
yeah.
He was in wrestling for a bit
Can I just say though,
years and years ago.
I think they missed out on a trick though. So there's a bit where they do the 2 chapters, and she drops her wig or something, and then a tree grows out of it, and it looks like many years later has happened.
Oh, we didn't go
And then
back to that, did we?
Yeah, no, but they've still got the little girl playing the act, playing Furiosa, and I thought that was a brilliant transition to go straight into Anya Taylor Johnson.
Joy.
No, she's older
Joy.
at that point. She does that thing, gets the car, doesn't she? She jumps down with a chain.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that when the tree grew out, it was a great transition
Well, it's only
for
like a
time
branch. It's
passing.
not really a tree, is it? It's
Yeah,
it's
but
probably
good.
like 5
it was
years
a
or
good
something.
metaphor. It was a
Yeah,
good.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because they did a trick like that in
Apparently
True Detective. They
Apparently the
showed
little girl. They done some sort of facial thing to make the transition of them looking pretty.
Yeah, did they change the girl's appearance? Because
Yeah.
I watched the film last week. Saw Sting, the Spider movie, at the cinema, and it's that girl was all the way is in Sting. She's in the whole part of it, and she is brilliant in Sting. But I thought, even though Sting's not an amazing film, it's fun. But yeah, in Furiosa, I was well impressed because yeah, those sort of parts are usually a 10-minute. Something happened to me. Grown up, shit
Yeah.
happens. But I thought she was so good in it.
Yeah, really good.
I just think. I mean, it was a good movie. Again, it's George Miller makes good movies. I don't know why
Yeah.
we've missed out so many years without him making really good Apparently, they're thinking of getting to do something Marvel. That'd be amazing. But did I need a Furiosa movie? No. I want Mad Max. If I want that world, I just want Mad Max. And there's a million stories they can tell in a barren land where people are fighting to survive. And I don't think it needs as much comedy. Like,
that's the thing that I thought was quite good. I think I mentioned it last week or something, but in the trailer for Furiosa, it put me off because Chris Hemsworth is so caricature, like so silly. But in the film, it actually made sense because he wasn't a caricature the whole way through. He just had moments of expletives that sounded silly, but it matched the character of that he was playing.
I loved when he first saw him. He was like Christ-like.
Yes,
it was a good imagery. Like, but then
rewriting religion basically. But before we move on, I was just going to say George Miller. All these cool films that he's done, Mad Max, Fury Road, 3,000 Years of Longing, all these sort of epic films. The films he got the most accolades for is what?
Babe,
Babe, and Happy Feet, the Penguin movie cartoon.
Fucking crazy. Yeah, that's mental.
Not bad films, but
that will do, Pig.
With Furiosa though, I actually thought you know the main guy from Fury Road, the one that's got that mask around
the white
him,
hair,
and
he's in the original Mad Max movie.
Yeah, the main dude. Yeah, the main dude. I thought that Chris Hemsworth was playing the younger version of him. That's how it came across in the trailer. I didn't realize that he was just a kind of another protagonist again.
Immortan Joe, that's his name.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I didn't realize until the other day.
And that's what I was hoping, though. I was hoping it was going to be a bit more of an origin of his character, and he turned into. Yeah.
I didn't realize till the other day that bloke with the long white hair, is actually in the original movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you another crazy thing.
I don't remember the original ones, but he's in them.
So in Mad Max Fury Road, so you've got Nicholas Holt's half-life character. And you've got witness. And you've got the guy that's his kind of nemesis. They're kind of fighting each other a bit. And he does, when they're drinking the stuff and he's spitting it in to the vehicle and he's having a race. The guy that's he's going against, basically, not Nicholas Hoult, the other guy, right? He is in Furiosa. He's the one with the nose. He's like the weird deformative brother.
All right.
Same actor.
Didn't know that.
Which is cool. No, it's brilliant because we're not supposed to know because he's got so much makeup on that you can't tell. But I think it's lovely that George Miller.
His actors quite a lot.
Yeah, but it's brilliant because George Miller's like, I tell you what, mate, I'm going to get you in this one. We'll just put you in so much kind of special effects makeup, nobody will have a fucking clue. And he's like, sweet man, yeah, I'm happy for the gig. Do you know what I mean? So it's really cool.
Did his wife edit Furiosa as well? I would imagine she would have.
The editing is mind blowing.
Because his wife won an Oscar for Mad Max, sorry. She won an Oscar for best editing.
Nice. Too right, though.
For Fury Road, it was in that sense, it was pretty good.
You just think, where the fuck do you start with all that amazing epic footage? She's a genius telling stories.
She had never edited an action movie before.
That was it, wasn't it? She said, I want fresh eyes on this. I want it to be different from normal films.
Maybe that's why Charlize Theron got more of the... Maybe she was like, I don't really like this guy, I'll do more hard. You don't know, because if you take the editing, the material, you could make a completely different movie.
Yeah. Well, they say...
The footage you've got, so you really don't know.
They say you make a film 3 times. Then you make it when it's written, when it's on set, and then when it's being edited. So
everything can change, can't it?
I'd imagine she would have edited Furiosa as well.
Yeah, she definitely did, because what you're saying, I listened to an interview only a few days ago where they were talking about that, and
that's like with The Godfather. Supposedly it was an absolute pile of shit, and then Francis Ford Coppola's wife said, "Let me have an edit, let me have a go," and he's like, "No," and then she recut it. Then she made it the masterpiece it is now. But he was trying to keep her name a bit under wraps, like, yes, this is me, this is what I did. It's like, well, hang on, your missus did that, mate, and you didn't, you know what I mean? You just left it when it's a pile of dog shit.
Sylvester Stallone did the same with First Blood.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, he re-edited it, didn't he?
It was the worst film because he had all this dialogue, and Sylvester Stallone was so embarrassed, he says, do you know what? see any time I'm speaking in it, cut it out, and then that's
Yeah.
how you've got Rambo that doesn't say anything. Where before
Amazing.
he had all this dialogue with all these cheesy lines,
Yeah.
and it was like terrible. It was the same with Van Damme with Bloodsport. Van
Yeah.
Damme re-edited Bloodsport, and it
Yeah.
went from a piece of dog shit to epic martial art movie. So
Well, I heard that's what Al Pacino and De Niro used to do. They'd be given a script that was probably like 500 pages, and they'd look at the director and go, "I could do that with a look." So like half of the script has got cut, and that's why you've got those amazing actors of that generation. Just look, and they're like,
but
Well,
the
you
writer,
know what
the
they're
writer in the
thinking.
corner's crying.
"Yeah,
I'm not going to put myself in the same position as you two because you two are actual actors. But when we were younger, me and Drew used to make films together,
yeah,
make movies and stuff. In fact, James was in a couple of them as well. And
Snuff movies.
no, we played some dark. We did some dark stuff. To be fair,
Okay.
we did some violent-y, horror-y type stuff.
Yeah.
But it was actually quite good. But every time I spoke longer than a sentence, I cringed. But
So did we.
yeah, exactly. I think I could. I was a passable actor as looking like either given a look
Thanks
or
for the
something
radio,
like that.
Kev.
As possible
Whereas
as the Rock.
Drew could speak and be acting, whereas as soon as I spoke, it broke the illusion that I could do anything.
no, but
I
mate,
just
you
have-
were,
Me personally, I hate doing anything in my accent or see if it's a character it's completely different. There's no vanity then, you know what I mean? But when it's yourself, you're thinking, oh, like public speaking. If I had to speak it, I'd hate it.
yeah,
It's
man,
me, and
Yeah.
I think that's most actors that like Robert Redford. They can't watch themselves because they go, oh, like
Yeah.
because you're always analysing. I could have done that better, and
Well,
sometimes.
this brings us to Gareth's question in the last episode. We didn't get enough time to answer. Is about accents and impressions. So I think Drew should do a little accent. Then Michael will have one from you. You can either repeat the
same one
same
or-
accent.
Remember,
or
it's
something different.
2024 and there is a banned list of accents.
but I thought, thanks,
Don't,
cheers
yeah,
for that.
For
don't
a
do.
reason.
I wondered if
What's
we
his,
could have a
what's his name on The
Simpsons.
Simpsons? What's it?
What?
Apu. Don't do an Apu accent. What's his
Can't
name?
do Indian, you can't do
No,
African,
that's
you
not in my
definitely can't
repertoire, man. I
click.
don't know about you, Michael. That's not in my repertoire.
I think South
Um,
African's still on the table.
So,
James can do a South African.
Chinese is a no-no.
James, you can do a South African.
Oh,
yeah, well, that's one of my ones, South African.
All right, Leaks.
South
Um,
African, alrighty, bro.
All right, bro. Yeah, that's exactly the one. That's the one I was going to
Elite.
say.
Oh,
What
you
yeah.
from
about the fruit and
Joburg?
veggie?
I'll tell you what, I had a couple of people, like my next door neighbor, like he was from South Africa. So I used to go there all the time just to have like tea and chill out, so
Is
I
he
absolutely
from?
love it.
Is he
man, all
from
the time.
Joburg? Where is he from?
I can't, he was from Zimbabwe, mate. He was from Zimbabwe, and he used to talk about having like barbecues back at his place, but he called them braais. And I was like, mate, I can't wait to get stuck into that food, man. It smells fucking awesome, so I
There's
couldn't
a
wait.
lot of godless people out there.
I know, right? I keep thinking of Leonardo DiCaprio. I thought he did such a great job on
Everything was whitey
Blood
brown.
Diamond. When he goes, I think about this. He goes, sometimes I wonder why God lets things happen to this place. And he's like, but then I think God left this place long ago, from Blood Diamond.
I think he was right for definite.
Yeah, for sure, bro, for sure.
I
Was it
think
Matt-
the best.
Matt
I think the
Damon
best
did a
South
good-
African accents is still from Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Patsy
you know
Kensit.
what's really funny?
Yeah.
My brother and I,
We were talking about that the other day.
my brother and I
Oh.
would do South African accents, and we used to say it's quite funny. I'll go, I'm going to go to small what is it? I'm going to go to small bitch. What is it? Small bitch to get a flat what? And it's like when I'm saying I'm going to go to small batch to get a flat white, but when you say it in South African, it's really funny. I'm going to go to small bitch to get a flat what?
Don't say small bitch.
Yeah, no, but that's what it sounds like.
Get
Small
flat
bitch,
white.
small bitch, small bitch to get a
I
flat
seen
what?
a reel. I seen a reel the other day, and I can't actually remember the context of it. But the guy says, "Oh, I think they're dickheads," and they're like, "Oh, you can't say that." He's like, "What? Dickheads? What?" He was saying the kids, and it sounded like dickheads.
Oh, the cats.
The kids.
Oh,
I can't call it.
Have you seen that
Hilarious.
skit where it's like an advert? It's a South African advert for decking, garden decking.
Right.
Wooden
Brilliant.
planks on the floor, and he's just going. I had my friends over. I said, "Come look at my dick." I brought my kids over. Come look at my dick.
Have you not seen
That's
that
brilliant.
that Mickey Flanagan bit though, where he goes to America? He says he goes to America, and he goes on a date, and he takes a girl home. He's like, "Can I come in your ass then?" She's like, "What?" And he's like, "I just want to come in your ass." She's like, "No." He's like, "What? I just want to come in your ass. You know, come in your ass." And she's like,
Did you
"No,
see?
no,
Did you see Super Troopers 2?
not
No.
two."
Didn't even
No,
know.
it's got one of the best lines. They're kidding on their Canadian Mounties, and they pull this
Yeah.
car over, and he says, "All you need is a penis in your asshole." She's like, "What?" He's like, "A penis in your asshole," basically saying happiness in your household. And he's like, "A penis, happiness." And she's like, "Oh, happiness, asshole." And he's like, "Happiness in your asshole." And he's like, "Oh, happiness in your household." Yes. And he's like, "What did you think I said?" And the guy says it, and he's like, "No." Funny. Super Troopers is like one of the most underrated comedies ever.
I don't think I've seen the sequel. First one was
It's so
brilliant.
funny.
That is brilliant.
It's so funny. There's a skit in it
brilliant.
about Danny DeVito. Just you YouTube it. Honestly, it's so funny.
So what's the next act? Because I was going to say an actor.
Australian. You know.
No, wait a minute. What's his name? What's Team America? Piss take name.
Martin Luther King.
Matt Damon. What?
Matt Damon.
Martin Luther King.
Matt Damon. You know why he had that accent, don't
Did they
you?
have a dream?
What?
Do you know why they did that for him?
Why?
Because he refused to be a voice in it.
No, there's a genuine reason why they made him like that.
Go on.
From Trey Stone and Matt Parker, because when the doll came out, it looked a little bit like, so they're like, let's just go with it.
But
And they said, Matt Damon. It's because how the doll came out, it looks a bit, off. So they were like, we're going to roll with it. Matt Damon.
You're talking about the guys that George Clooney says, "I want a part in it," and they made him a gay dog. That just basically went
Oh yeah.
like nothing. Can you imagine being George Clooney and saying, "This is your script"? Dog noises.
I love that. I love the fact that people like George Clooney have got a sense of humor and love that type of stuff and get involved. Like we said before, Brad Pitt in Deadpool
Jackass.
2 and all these sort of random things.
Brad Pitt was in Jackass too. With he's in a monkey outfit.
Oh, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yeah. Remember Jackass?
Yes.
I think it was
No way.
second season.
Yeah, and like people like Pamela Anderson when she gets kidnapped in Borat. Is it Borat? Not Borat. What's the other guy? Yeah, Borat. Borat
Dictator.
Kidnaps Pamela Anderson. He goes to like a signing and he puts a bin over her head, a bin bag over her head, and stuffs her into a van.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell the security, and they attack him.
Can we just gloss over saying that one of
Pamela
the greatest
Anderson's in the
fight
joke.
scenes,
It's not
one of the
security.
greatest fight scenes in any movie is Team America in Paris when they run out of bullets and there's like two puppets and just start going.
Durka.
And then the other scene where she's like, promise me you'll never die. He's like, I promise I'll never die. And she's trying to put her finger on her mouth. He's like doing all that. Like, finally gets there. It's like,
Do you know that when the
honestly, Team America was one of the greatest movies of all
South
time.
Park,
so
the
good.
movie when it came out, like Broadway's top, what do you call it?
Yeah,
Critic.
It was
Top
Cat.
critic said it's the greatest musical in 30 years.
Oh, what Team
It really
America?
is. See when you watch
Team
it.
America.
Yeah,
So good.
South
it's
Park
so
movie.
funny.
Isn't it like, I've seen it all now. Have you ever seen a man who's on head?
Biggest bitch.
Do you remember when he's like, now, Gary, I'm not the type of guy to say, get in my car and suck my dick now. Suck my dick, Gary.
You just want to
lure
put
him
your
into the
finger
car.
in me.
When they do the surgery to make him look more figure, they just
With a
glue
pubic
hair on
hair.
him.
Brilliant.
He's like, oh,
If you get
Durka,
captured,
Muhammad Jihad.
take this, a hammer.
Yeah.
But it's like when they're chasing him and they're like do the warning signal, just like this, and they're like, "What's that guy doing?" He said, "You're a son of a bitch! Shoot that motherfucker!" He's like,
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, Durka."
But I love that it takes the piss out of, like, obviously, like the gun thing is just like mental. When the girl runs into the bar, she kills everyone and goes, Gary, like kills everybody. It's like,
The funniest
Gary,
bit is when he's trying to get in with the terrorists, and he's like, Durka, Muhammad Jihad, and they're like, oh, Durka. So he's like, Muhammad Jihad, Durka, and they're like, oh yeah, Durka.
That's literally the only three words they use.
You could not get away with it now, could
And
you?
when they're like, I've never seen acting like that. You're incredible. You know, it's like so funny,
Just a patchy beard glued on and stuff.
so good.
They
think as- I
destroy
think
like
as long
half
as-
of Paris just for like no reason.
I think as long as those guys are still making South Park and all that, humanity still has a hope.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
I think the day
that
they
and
get back,
Family Guy.
time
Absolutely.
to pack it up.
Did you see where they took the piss out of what's that music artist?
That narrows it down to a lot, Kev.
They just ripped the piss out of her like 2 weeks ago. No, woman, black,
Lizzo,
Lizzo.
Betty.
that was
Did you
funny.
see that?
She records herself like watching it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right?
No
And
way.
she's good sport, to be fair.
It's don't do Ozempic. Now all the celebrities are taking Ozempic to lose weight. It's basically take Lizzo, where you just don't give a shit, and they're just eating whatever they want. And hey, I'm on Lizzo.
So yeah, they're just fat and
That's
happy with
good.
being
Fat
fat,
and
basically.
happy.
Which
Yeah, they are savages. That and Family Guy. There's just no rules, is there?
I think Family Guy. I don't think it's as hardcore as South Park. It's still funny. It's still
It's getting
everybody's
close, isn't
fair
it?
game. But I
Did you
don't
see
think
the one
it
the other-
was.
See the one the other day where they're like, there's a guy. He's driving like a slave ship, and you can see all the slaves in the cage, and they're like, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Are we there yet? No." "Are we there yet?" "I will turn this thing around," and they're like, "Yeah, that'll work." And he's like, "Wait a minute."
That's Family Guy, isn't it? Brilliant.
Yeah, it's so
Flashback.
Oh, good.
The cut to scenes are always the best part of a Family Guy.
Yeah.
See, it's
Oh
just
god, the worst one I saw recently was it was Stewie and Brian were entering this like tennis tournament, and Stewie's like, "Oh, imagine what we could do with that trophy." And then it cuts to a video, like a picture of like these two doctors looking at like a X-ray of a
X-ray,
baby with
yeah.
the trophy up his ass, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's not a good play." He's like, "Yeah, he died." The guy's like, "Oh look, second place." It's like,
So good.
Did you ever
So
see
good.
that episode about the word about the bird? Bird.
Have you heard about
Birds
the
or-
word?
I let my
Yeah.
son watch that, and I swear to God, he was crying, laughing.
So
it's
how-
so funny.
Just how absurd it is. Like every 2 seconds, did you hear about the word? The word is a bird. Like funny, too funny.
Do you remember the bit where Brian says he's like, Peter's so stupid you wouldn't know the difference between your ass and a hole in the street. And then he walks, it just cuts to Peter walking down the street and he looks at a hole and goes, "Is that my ass?" And it's like,
Have you seen the one where Peter's like a little kid? He's walking down the street and a van pulls up, being like, "Oh, I've got loads of like sweets and puppies in the back of my van." And he's
Yeah.
like, "No, thank you, sir." And he opens the newspaper. He's like, "Local kid gets unlimited sweets." And then like it cuts to another scene where he's walking down. And the guy's like, "Do you want to get my van? I've got loads of sweets." He's like, "Okay." And it cuts to him reading the newspaper. It says, "Local child molested." It's like, oh god,
oh, fuck.
that's like so bad. Or the last one is the one where Joe gets a new police vehicle, and it has this like robot stuff, and like
Handy capable.
Peter gets in, and it's like, "You are under arrest. Please act calmly," and it like puts him in handcuffs. And then Cleveland's like, "I want to go," and they're like, "No, no, 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 no." And it gets in, and goes, starts banging him. I was like, "Oh, he has a gun." It like, drops a gun on him and stuff. It's like beating him up and stuff.
God. Crazy.
what's the next accent, Drew? By the way,
Well, I was going to say Australian, mate. How's your Australian, Michael?
Well,
You
it
do?
depends. Is it like Canberra, where it's a little nicer? Like
Oh, I don't know. I was just going in. I was just going.
No, Perth,
Like
Perth, please.
I was just going full in, mate. I don't quite know where I was going with this, but I wrote this funny little. Well, I thought it was funny, but I was trying to come up with like a mock advert. So I was like, my friend Fred goes fishing for 4 hours every Friday, and that got me thinking. I use the F word a lot, but what's the most important F word? And then you hear this. Foster's. Well, isn't it obvious? Yeah, it's like the idea.
I just thought about that too much. That's a really good one.
No, cheers, bro. Cheers.
I feel that's on a reel somewhere.
It is on a reel, man. It is on a reel. That's on my actual show reel. Like, but what was funny when I made it at the time, a few people were like that would actually make a pretty funny, like, because like Foster's stuff is quite memorable. It was this idea of this boat, and you just hear the water like hitting the side of the boat, and this guy's all on his own. It slowly pans away as he's talking to the camera. He just cracks open a beer, but it's like he's probably got Tourette's or something. He just loves
The
swearing.
most iconic one was when the guy fell off the cliff and he's shouting his friend, Johnny, Johnny, and he's like, I'm coming, mate, I'm coming. He's falling down that salon. He's getting,
Yeah.
Johnny, and he gets down the bottom and he's like, I can see the pub from here. The guy's all whiplash and grunted bits. Funny.
Do you
So,
remember the one?
Michael, can you do different dialects of Australia then?
Well, you've got your. I can't remember what they call it, like the Furiosa kind of Australia.
Yeah,
There
that's
is-
kind of what I was going for. I think
other
Chris
Australians
Hemsworth,
call it.
kind of.
But when you've got like Canberra, it's a little more polite. It's more British in a sense. When you go to like the cinema to watch a movie,
Yeah.
it sounds a lot nicer. It's not as
Yeah.
strong.
I like the Furiosa one. Do the Furiosa one again.
My drama's in there.
What, like, I can see the bloody pub from here. Well, I'm sitting here doing this bloody podcast. I've got a pen in my fucking hand. I can't see anything. You know, it's just,
But do you have it in you to make it epic?
I don't think so. Not in a way.
I got in trouble though because like I'd always like do accents of certain people that I'd meet just because that was like the actor head in me. And I remember being in a bar. I can't remember where the fuck I was. I basically bumped into somebody in the street, literally, and I just started doing an Australian accent because they were Australian, asking for directions or something. And I don't know why. It's probably just an excuse to do any acting, really. And somehow he's like, "Oh, mate, you got to come with us, man. You know, they got the whole fucking bar set up for us." And I was like, "Yeah, why not, mate?" And I just followed him. We're literally in a bar, and now I'm meeting all his friends, like his girlfriend, family members. Oh my God, I don't fucking know how I got here. And he's like, "Oh yeah, get around him, mate. Like, dude, you know, whatever." And like all this stuff. And then gradually my brain is like, "Drew, you just need to say that you're English, you're a stupid actor, and you've just completely got caught up in the wrong fucking situation here." And then I literally do that. So halfway through, they're like having a fucking banter and like, "Oh, cheers for the drinks, mate." "Oh yeah, no worries, mate." And I'm like, I was like, "Sorry, guys, actually." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm actually English and I'm an actor." And I stupidly just carried on doing this accent. And they were so cool about it. They're like, "Oh, fucking mate, no worries. You didn't even fucking realize." And then they had a laugh. They're like, "Finish your drink anyway, mate." And I was like, this is so embarrassing. But it was a lot of fun.
I had a 10-minute conversation with somebody that was Russian because I did the
wow.
door with my friend was Russian and he was talking to his friend and Sergey would teach me a couple of words. So I just said a couple of words and the guy's like, "Oh, you speak Russian?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Nah." I basically had a 10-minute conversation saying, "Duh." No matter what you ask.
Can you open the door?
Just all these little words that are just that you can just carry on, and you can do that pretty much with anybody. You'll only get away with it for so long.
It's like Viggo Mortensen in Eastern Promises, when he puts on the Russian accent, he does it so well. I think he was almost nominated for that performance.
Yeah.
Have you seen Eastern Promises? Where he's like, "You're a good person. You go inside. You don't want to get mixed up in our kind of world, you know?" And it's like, but he was so brilliant as that kind of Russian hitman.
He's a great actor anyway, isn't he? Like,
Yeah.
Where is it Viggo Mortensen's from? Is he like Swedish or something, or Norway?
No,
He's European.
yeah, I think he has kind of got a bit of that. Yeah.
That story you were telling me, it was reminding me of a joke. It was Lenny Henry. He done a film years ago, and this joke always kind of stuck in my mind because he basically goes to this place. He's trying to find somebody, and the kid's on. He's from Jamaica, so he's like, "Yeah, man, how you doing?" And he's talking to these other guys. The guy's like, "You from Jamaica?" "I'm from Jamaica." He's like, "Where are you from, man?" He's like, "Near the beach."
Why? Yeah.
He's like, "Oh,
I think
the beach, man."
By the way, Viggo Mortensen is born in New York City, but raised mainly in Argentina and Denmark.
There you go. Yeah, there's the Denmark part. Yeah. I think that's called Half Baked, mate. There's a bit where he's like, "You're from Jamaica, I'm from whereabouts? The beach." "Oh, why?" And it's like he's just trying to make an excuse. He doesn't. Half Baked.
Right.
Yeah, man.
A funny thing with accents, right? I remember a time when I went up to Scotland, and it wasn't.
Oh, mate.
It wasn't your side of the family, Michael. We went to my mum's side at the time. Drew came with us, so me and Drew were in Girvan, and I think we took a trip into Glasgow, but then we had a night out in Girvan itself, which is, there's nothing there, but I remember we were on the train coming back, and there was a Scotland England rugby game that happened that day. So when we got on the train, it's just me and Drew, who both sound English, and obviously Scotland had just beaten England in a rugby game. So there was sports like hoodlums, basically reprobates, just singing anti-English songs, very, very Scottish all the way through. And me and Drew were like, shit, we're in trouble, because they were making their way through the train,
Yeah.
making everyone sing.
It was
Were they
10.
singing
And
Flower
we're
of
like,
Scotland?
what?
Was it Flower of Scotland they were singing?
No. It was like aggressive anti-English
They
shit.
look like they wanted fights. They look like they
Yeah,
wanted fights.
they were not warming Scots.
When you're sitting with a red cross on your face.
But I was like, Drew, I'm Scottish, but I don't sound Scottish. And Drew goes, I don't have a great Scottish accent, but I can do Irish there. I can do a wee bit of Irish. So he was, I couldn't do it off my own bat. So Drew had to speak Irish, and I was mimicking him. So when they came over, they were like, where are you guys from? And we're like, from Ireland. They're like, whereabouts? Oh, Dublin. Whereabouts in Dublin? Oh, the centre bit. I was like, don't know.
The Shamrocks.
We managed to bypass them, but we were terrified. We're like, there's like 30 of these people. They're going to start riot.
We bamboozled them because our accents were so terrible that they were like, these guys are probably just from a mental institute.
I think luckily they were so drunk that a passable Irish accent.
I was doing Northern Irish though. Do you remember? I was speaking like that though. Like I was doing I can't do the fucking Dublin one. So I was speaking proper like that. So
I can do more of a wee Irish one there. I try to do Scottish every now and again, and every time I do Scottish, I go, I can only do properly Scottish unless I'm around Michael for like half an hour. Then I can do a little twang. But if I'm in,
You can do a little twang. Is that what you call it?
A little Scottish twang. But if I'm trying to do Scottish on my own, I always fall into Irish, and I can only do Scottish by swearing. I can only go I've gone Irish again. For fuck's sake, no, West Irish.
For fuck's sake.
But it's
for fuck's sake.
Isn't it funny where there's ways in? So it's like for Northern Irish, we were told like at drama school that you say how now, brown cow, right? But you say it like hi now, brown cow.
Brown cow.
Hi now, brown cow. You're like, what?
If you just want to go Scottish, just start off with some cornry. And you're good.
It's going to go for fuck's sake. I've gone Irish again.
I can only do Sean Connery.
To violence, you've already lost.
Exactly. I can only do the Sean Connery, but that's about that.
I'm gonna put some marmalade on my toast.
Yeah. Where do you keep your golf club?
Bane?
Where's the hot water?
James, that was Bane you just did.
Well, who?
James loves a Bane.
James loves a Bane off.
I'm the king of Bane.
But to do the ultimate Bane, you need like a metal wine cooler. You talking to that?
Here we go. We did an episode a few weeks, a month ago.
I watched it.
When we did Bane. No way.
There. But you need the echo. I've got a coffee cup here.
Perhaps she's wondering why I would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
That's
really
good.
That's good. Almost as good as mine.
I'd say that's better, man.
Darkness is your ally.
Why would somebody shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane?
You need an
I
echo.
would like a latte, vanilla syrup, please.
You need an echo chamber.
How much
No, I
fiber
don't
does
need a
it need?
receipt.
Everybody's walking
All
their coffee mugs.
What's the next accent, Drew?
Well, I quite like Sean Bean, so I normally do like a Yorkshire kind of accent, a bit like that sort of thing.
I wasn't even thinking of different British places.
Talking about the people that want to hurt you, that kind of thing.
Well, like Game of Thrones, something
Kind
like
of
that.
It took Game
On
of
the watch.
Thrones.
There was
On the tower,
dragons.
on the black.
There was dragons all over the skies.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, what is
The
it?
pesky
John
dragons.
Snow, whatever, I can't remember some of the lines he has. But I don't want it. I don't want the crown. I don't want it.
Basically, everybody in Game of Thrones has got that kind of...
Well, yeah, it was funny because everyone said, in the final season, all of Jon Snow's dialogue had just been turned to, I'm not interested. I don't want the crown. I don't want it. And it was just like, what?
that last season was kind of, I don't know, disappointing.
Dumbest
It's a
show
bit
of
hit
all
and
time
miss.
at the end of it. At the end of the day, Game of Thrones.
I do think it
7
was overhyped.
seasons. But it was 7 seasons or 10 seasons and then been fighting over the crown. And then at the end of it, they were like,
I don't want it.
do you want him out of it? Let the crazy kid who thinks he's a fucking owl have it. It seems great decision. Yeah, let him do it. Brilliant.
The only criticism of it was there was that many stories going on. You could go 5 episodes and not see somebody, and then you'd actually forget what the storyline was.
Yeah, man.
You're like, what the? Because remember the big guy with the girl?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Yeah, Aria.
Yeah.
The Hound.
It was like I was enjoying their storyline.
Yeah, that was amazing.
You see them for 6 episodes, and then you're like, what the fuck are they? Just people, just too many characters, and I think too many cooks spoil the broth.
But the thing was, they said as well, though, in the final 2 seasons, that people learned to teleport. Because if you remember in the first 4 seasons, like you said, it took 6 episodes to get to the other side of town or to that village or to that other part of the land. Whereas in season 7 and 8, when they were speeding it up, they're like, we've got to go to King's Landing. Boom. In 10 minutes, they're there. How did you get there? That took 6 episodes.
And between stuff.
It was crazy,
They were trying to wrap it up, weren't they? So
yeah, but I don't know, man. They were told, though, HBO said to the 2 directors, they're like, we've got, I think it was we've got almost 20 million or something, so you can at least do 2 more seasons. They're like, no, we're good. We'll get it in 8 episodes. You're like, what? Yeah, crazy.
Only to do
the rest of the episode in the mask.
No one knew who I was until I put on the mask.
Yeah, so I'll have a Big Mac meal with a milkshake.
Do you feel in charge?
Make it large.
Nice.
Does this Happy Meal come with a toy? If not, I don't want it.
By the way, I'm not weird, just had a gas mask, so I do a lot of spray paint. So I had to...
Are we all Tom Hardy fans, or is it a...
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
love
looking
Tom
for
Hardy,
some
man.
Bike Riders, even though I'm not sure about his accent in it.
I just
looking
think I'm fed up Tom Hardy playing Tom Hardy.
It's been hailed as Goodfellas on Harleys.
Bikes. Yeah.
Tom Hardy playing a hard man.
Bike Riders looked amazing.
Hardy by name, Hardy by nature.
Yeah.
But the trailer, Austin Butler looks absolute money, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. He's brilliant.
Austin Butler's killing it.
I know,
He's
but
the new Jimmy Dean.
See the Dune 2 thing? I wasn't that... When they were comparing it with Heath Ledger's Joker and things.
Yeah, no ways. We
were saying this earlier. Don't you think they made that character really weak? He beat up 3 people that were drugged.
They could have given more rope and he would have been better.
He basically beat up 3 people that were drugged and then got beaten up by the Chanel model, whatever he's called. It's he just looked ridiculous. And Batista looked ridiculous as well. He just looked weak and comedic. And it was he could have been a great bad guy, but at no point did he look tough. Whereas
shame he died as well, because I think if he came back for another sequel stronger, he would have had a bit more.
To say he's a Joker, it's come on.
No, there's only a few performances in 20 years that have that, and Austin Butler's not got any of them. You know what I mean? Even Johnny Depp's Captain Jack. See that first thing? That one had a real character. Everything he'd done after was questionable.
By the way, did you ever hear the story about Captain Jack? How he ended up being Captain Jack?
Maybe.
He did an interview once, and apparently he did the screen shoot, but Captain Jack was I'm Captain Jack and that. And apparently the director was like, are you alright? Are you okay? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, this is how I'm going to do it. If you want me to do it, I'm going to do it like this. So apparently he played it like a drunk, deliberately.
Well, he played
and
it.
he was like, this is the only way I'm going to do it. But apparently after his first screenshot, when he was like, I'm Jack Sparrow, and apparently everyone just looked at him and was like, are you okay? And he was like, yeah.
For the Rolling Stones. He's got a painting on his wall, and it's him dressed as a pirate. And that's what Johnny Depp based it on. But Johnny Depp went for when he went to do it, he wanted all gold teeth. They had to wind them back so much because they're like, we still need some reminiscence of Johnny Depp. You know what I mean? You're at the same point. We don't want to make you look like, but he really wanted to go all out, so he had to settle with a couple of gold teeth, but he was really going to go deep on it.
Do you remember his transformation in that gangster film where he's got his slick back hair and they make him really pale and
Bolt.
What, Blow? Not Blow. The other one.
What's his name?
Fuck, what is it?
It's a person's
Henry
name.
Bolger or something. It's not that. It's something like that.
It's like the ice.
What's that?
I'll find it.
The blue eyes and things.
Yeah, man.
It's
That
quite recent as well. It's in the
Real
last 10 years.
transformation. That film was really haunting, man.
What's his name? He's a notorious gangster, Boston.
What you're looking at is quite a funny interview with Johnny Depp and Graham Norton, where he talked about Hunter S. Thompson. And he said how Hunter S. Thompson wanted to
Yes, Black
when
Mass.
he died, get his ashes like blown out of a 20-foot cannon into the
Oh,
stratosphere.
yeah.
And they're like, he's like, he asked me to do it, and Graham Norton was like, "You do?" He's like, "Yeah, definitely." Yeah. What his ashes out of a cannon?
Wow.
Yeah, they got on really well when they were filming that. Like Johnny Depp and Hunter S. Thompson became like really good friends.
Being in
And stuff.
Lothar in Las Vegas.
Yeah, so good. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the film was Black Mass that we're talking about. That
Yeah,
was
Black
Mass, that's it.
Amazing.
that was a good transformation, because at the time, when all we'd seen Johnny Depp for 10 years as being a caricature of himself or a Tim Burton
Mhm.
thing, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it was a bit over the top for a long period of time where it was just Johnny Depp's gone a bit bizarre, you know.
Do you not think somehow they kind of mirrored each other? Like the Mad Hatter, the Charlie and the Chocolate
Oh.
Factory. They just...
Oh,
they-
so it's
Yeah.
an amalgamation to make
Edward
Black
Scissorhands.
Mass.
And again, Captain Jack, an amazing character. That first film, totally
Yeah.
original. Never seen before. Like, and again, Heath Ledger's Joker. There's these
Yeah.
characters that you just... I remember going to see The Dark Knight, and it was all in the press that Heath Ledger has done. Oh, it's this amazing. And I went in totally skeptical, and I was completely blown away. And I
Yeah.
can't remember the last time that happened watching something
Yeah.
where I was like that. I don't see Heath Ledger when I watch that.
Yeah.
I can't physically see him. I just see
Well,
this.
Well, Heath Ledger didn't do anything like that before. You know, you think about 10 Things I Hate About
Knight's
You.
Tale.
Knight's Tale. Not they did less serious parts, but he never did anything that was that convincing, full on. And it's a comic book character, so it should be a bit silly, but it wasn't. It was. It
Well,
was.
it done Brokeback Mountain and all that. So
I still don't think I've seen that.
You have,
No,
BA.
I've not seen.
You have.
seen it twice.
James, you've got it on repeat. I know you have. You've paused it right now. It's playing in the background on mute, isn't it? That's why you've got no trousers on.
No, it's playing sound only.
Anyway, I've literally genuinely not seen it.
So in The Dark Knight Rises, this is a fascinating thing. So it's only 33 minutes of actual screen time that Heath Ledger has in a
That's-
2.5 hour.
You said Dark Knight Rises.
Sorry, Dark Knight. Sorry,
Hardy.
and
It's funny
Hardy,
because-
I think has like 20 minutes in a like almost a 3-hour film.
Do you know that scene where he smacks the guy's head into the pencil?
Yeah,
I saw.
It's
Did
Glenn
you see
Powell.
the behind the scenes on that? Like they literally did that, and they literally had to move the pencil last minute. It wasn't a pretend pencil or zero there. There was a pencil there, and someone had to remove it last minute to make the shot work.
the impact.
So it was apparently from all the explosions
Yeah,
and all
froze.
the chaos in that film.
Yeah, but
that
it'll all be
was the
fine.
most
It's weird
serious
because
film section.
Not to segue into The Crow, but again, The Crow heavily influenced Heath Ledger's Joker. Heavily influenced
Oh.
that scene.
Got to have.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Heath Ledger wanted to apply his own makeup with Joker makeup. Brandon Lee applied his own makeup
yeah.
the night before, so that the day after the shoot it would look good.
Yes.
Like really, really ahead.
Just like
I
the
didn't.
dedication
I
to their
only read that,
craft.
I only read that the other day that Brandon Lee wasn't happy. We was getting makeup put on in the morning
Fresh.
and deliberately wiped to make it look faded, and he said he didn't like it, so
He
he wore it to
himself.
bed the night before. So he woke up naturally the way it would be, and the way, no matter how shitty or good it was, that's how he would do it, wouldn't he? Because that's realistic.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You see in the scenes when Heath Ledger, like you can see all the makeup on his hands and his really long nails, and it just adds a real element of kind of sinister.
Because if he comes in with a
element to
perfect face,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
The thing with Jack Nicholson's Joker, his wasn't paint; it was acid. Like so,
Oh yeah,
that was kind
yeah.
of
Someone's melted his. Yeah.
bleached his skin.
I heard a really interesting thing that Christian Bale said on this whole talk of Batman and stuff. He was saying that when Tom Hardy and Christian Bale were doing the scenes, Nolan was getting a bit upset because they
Signals.
weren't getting the lines right. Like as in, there were gaps were huge, and they were like stopping, saying, I can't fucking hear anything. Like he's got that massive mask over his thing, and then he's got the bloody cowl on his head with the massive ears. Yeah. So he says they're doing. Christian Bale's like, when I finish my line, I'm going to do something with a finger, like one finger or something. And everyone that put on the comments underneath saying, is it me, or do I have to watch The Dark Knight Rises again to see their fingers?
It's edited in a way that I've looked at that. I couldn't see any kind of
Right.
finger, but yeah.
I see one at the end though. You know when he knocks off the mask and he's like, he's on the floor and he goes, "Arr." That's a finger moment. I don't know if that's.
I'm back.
Don't worry, James. You haven't missed anything. They're just talking about random fingering.
I just really wanted to cook some hash browns and stuff. So
Brilliant.
So that was a good segue. I was trying to think of a way to get into that, but
you're welcome.
The crow.
Oh, wait, stop.
Holy crop, Batman! Oh no! We're out of time on this episode. So join us for the rest of our chat tomorrow on Rage Whale.